You know, a lot of times you're gonna hear certain things. You know, I'm not jealous of these fighters. I'm proud of these fighters. I'm for real.
Mayweather actually didn't get hit or gets hit by dudes that, like, who on Bud's resume is an equivalent of someone on Floyd's resume? So that's it right there. You know what I'm saying? Like, Floyd not getting hit by elites, Bud getting hit by non-elites, and somehow y'all think...
In a recent interview, Floyd Mayweather said that black fighters should stand together, but his actions tell a different story, especially toward Terence Crawford. Right now, Crawford is fully focused on his upcoming fight with Canelo Alvarez, training with serious determination. He's not after just a big payday. He wants to make boxing history his training camp is full of young, driven fighters eager to learn from him as he aims to do what many think is impossible. He's sparring with larger opponents, building strength for the super middleweight division, and perfecting every small detail that could matter in September. Still, not everyone sees the full picture. Floyd Mayweather recently called Crawford the best pound-for-pound fighter, yet remains unsure about him.
Just in the position that he's in, I think he has a beautiful family. I think he has a beautiful wife, a beautiful queen, a black queen. And there's nothing better than a black woman in this world. That's just my opinion. We all entitled to our opinion. And I think just in the sport of boxing right now, I think we need to start sticking more together, you know.
The retired champion believes Crawford isn't chasing greatness, but chasing money. In Floyd's view, Canelo is the ultimate jackpot, a fight that guarantees financial security no matter who wins. That's why he doesn't see Crawford as a true example for the next generation of fighters. Instead, Floyd says real champions take the hard path, which to him means facing David Benavidez first. Floyd claims that if Crawford really wanted to prove himself, he would fight the Mexican monster, a powerful and aggressive fighter who's been calling out Canelo for years. But Crawford isn't accepting that idea. He thinks Floyd's comments are just a distraction, a way to control the story like Mayweather has always done throughout his career.
Floyd wanting to see Crawford fight David Benavidez. That's wild.
The tension between Floyd and Crawford isn't new. Many believe Mayweather has never wanted to see another fighter reach his level. Whenever a top fighter rises, Floyd finds a way to minimize their success. He did it to Canelo before their fight, saying he was inexperienced. He spent years downplaying Manny Pacquiao's legacy, and now he's turning that same criticism toward Crawford. Floyd seems unwilling to accept that boxing is moving beyond his time, and he's determined to remind everyone that in his eyes he's still the standard.
Out of that fight, there too many weight classes apart. And although the skills, Crawford is one of the best fighters that I've seen. Now, Canelo is, you know, fighting at 168.
Crawford isn't letting the criticism bother him. He spent his whole career proving doubters wrong and plans to do it again. While Mayweather was known for his defensive skills, Crawford fights with a different mindset. He doesn't just avoid damage, he makes opponents pay for every mistake. He's been sharpening that style against bigger fighters, refining his footwork to handle Canelo's power. Some believe it still won't be enough since Canelo has dominated the super middleweight division for years, building strength and experience. But Crawford has something Canelo lacks: the ability to adjust mid-fight and break down his opponents completely, and that's why fans see this as a massive night.
Versus Crawford, the biggest fight in the game.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, like when you're looking at Ryan Garcia and Tank Davis, this is the next thing.
Despite all the talk about legacy, there's one thing many overlook: the risk Crawford is taking. While most fighters pick safer fights, Crawford is stepping into a matchup where the odds are stacked against him. He could have stayed at 154 pounds, dominated that division, and still built his name. Instead, he's moving up to face a man who's already beaten some of the best in boxing. It's the kind of decision that creates legends but can also end careers. That's why many people disagree with Mayweather's comments about Benavidez. If Crawford were only chasing money, he wouldn't be taking on the toughest fight available.
Canelo's gonna walk him down. Crawford is gonna do a lot of defense. Now, if he pulls off that win, dude, that's gonna be one of the most biggest, like, upsets of all time for this dude to go up that many weight classes. And now I do think that, you know what I'm saying, he's going to get his little shots in as far as, you know, finessing and all that, because his hands are definitely way faster than Canelo. But just the weight and the way that Canelo
Some people think Floyd is trying to stop Crawford from succeeding where he couldn't. Mayweather fought Canelo when the Mexican star was still young and inexperienced. He never offered a rematch or faced Canelo at his peak. Now Crawford is preparing to fight a prime Canelo, one of the biggest names in boxing today. If Crawford wins, he'll accomplish something Mayweather never did, defeat the best version of Canelo, and that could change how fans view Mayweather's legacy. Maybe that's why Floyd doesn't want this fight to happen. Maybe he sees it as a threat to his place in boxing history. But Crawford isn't focused on that. He's focused on what he does best, proving people wrong.
About me going up and having a tough time, but he went up in weight and lost. That's the difference. I went up weight and won. He went up and lost. You know, so let's not do that.
He knows that if he wins, the same people calling this a payday fight will soon be calling him one of the greatest of all time. Some are already saying that if Crawford beats Canelo, he could become the first boxer ever to be undisputed in 4 different weight classes, something no one in history has achieved. Not Mayweather, not Sugar Ray Leonard, not Muhammad Ali. That's the kind of legacy Crawford is after, and he doesn't care what anyone thinks. But the big question remains, can he actually pull it off?
People that say that Crawford can beat Canelo, no problem. I mean, I respect that. But I just think they're stupid. I mean, excuse my language. The size difference of a bigger man changes everything with one punch. And I can see the same thing. I mean, you saw Canelo Alvarez fighting Amir Khan. Now, look at this.
Even Canelo's team has noticed how well Crawford is preparing. They thought he'd have trouble adjusting to the higher weight, but reports from his camp show he's managing it easily. He's sparring with bigger, stronger fighters, and still coming out on top. Trainers observing from afar say his speed hasn't dropped, and his accuracy is as sharp as ever. Canelo's team expected a slower, heavier Crawford, but instead they're seeing a version that looks even more dangerous. Madrimov, however, believes that if the fight goes the distance, Crawford will be the better boxer.
But it's Canelo better technique, because 50-50. If 12 rounds, Crawford win, I think. If knockout, it's Canelo.
What makes Crawford so difficult to fight against?
He has power, smart.
Meanwhile, David Benavidez is watching from the sidelines, frustrated that Canelo has once again passed him over. He believes he's the true challenger at 168 pounds, and has made it clear that Crawford doesn't belong in the mix. He's cutting the line. Benavidez said recently Canelo should be fighting real super middleweights, not fighters moving up from welterweight. But that's how boxing works. It's not only about rankings and rules, it's about timing, business, and legacy. And right now the biggest fight in the sport isn't Benavidez versus Canelo, it's Crawford versus Canelo. That's the truth, and even Floyd Mayweather can't change it. Crawford understands what's on the line. He's training for the biggest fight of his career, blocking out the critics, and staying focused. He's not just chasing a win, he's chasing history, whether Mayweather or anyone else likes it or not.
Coming from 147, I know he's a great man. Crawford is a great man and a great warrior. But you come from 147 to put on a better fight than I mean, I don't even know what that means. I don't know if that means that Crawford is so great and he can do that, or that means that Charlo set the bar so damn low that anybody can do better than Charlo.
But just recently, Floyd Mayweather praised Crawford, calling him the best fighter in the world today. Despite Canelo's success across multiple divisions and his upcoming clash with Crawford, Mayweather still insists that Crawford is number one. While it sounds like a compliment, many believe there's more to it. For years, Floyd has downplayed Canelo's achievements, never giving him full credit for becoming the face of boxing. Even though Canelo has reached superstar status, Mayweather continues to remind everyone that he beat him back in 2013, using it as proof that Canelo was never truly great. Now, with Canelo preparing to face Crawford, Floyd is making it clear who he thinks deserves the top spot in boxing.
Y'all sitting up here, y'all praising this dude. This dude was nothing. I was almost 40 years old when I cooked this dude. Easy.
But is this really about rankings, or just another way for Floyd to take a shot at his former rival? Some fans think his real motive is protecting his legacy. Terence Crawford is closing in on Mayweather's 50-0 record, and a win over Canelo would put him in a historic spot. By calling Crawford the best right now, Floyd is carefully shaping the story. If Crawford wins, Mayweather can say he predicted it, making himself look wise. If Canelo wins, he can argue Crawford was never that special to begin with. Either way, Mayweather keeps himself right at the center of attention.
The only thing I see that I favor Canelo is that, you know, is his weight.
Yeah.
And that he's more bigger. You know what I'm saying? That's the only thing. But as far as skill set wise, IQ, I feel like Crawford can match anybody and probably do way better. You know what I'm saying? But you know, Crawford is a legend, bro.
Yeah.
You know,
There's another side to this too. Floyd Mayweather has always said he only respects fighters who follow his blueprint, controlling their careers and maximizing their earnings. Canelo, even though he's a massive star, has taken tough fights without waiting for ideal financial terms, something Floyd never did. On the other hand, Crawford had to climb his way up the hard way, facing promoter problems and struggling to land big fights for years. Mayweather's praise for Crawford might be sincere, but it could also be a subtle way to downplay Canelo's status as boxing's biggest attraction.
Canelo moved up one weight class and had trouble at 175. Crawford's gonna have so much trouble going up 2 weight classes. So I will agree with you, this is like a big factor on why he might lose. But if he uses his IQ and pulls like a Shakur Stevenson in the ring, I can see him winning the rounds. But if he goes toe-to-toe with Crawford, you mean Canelo? Like, if he goes toe-to-toe with, if Crawford goes toe-to-toe with Canelo, that's true.
If you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to subscribe to Glove Lords for more powerful boxing updates, analysis, and exclusive fight coverage.